been one of those days, man. I just just thoughts, coming to my head. When we yawn, do you think deaf people think we're screaming? You know what I mean? Those kind of things. Like, if you're waiting on the waiter, aren't you the waiter? You know what I mean? I got a million more. It's like a Stephen Wright kind of a thing, right? Yeah. Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Thursday. How you doing out there? So it's a quick stock market update show that we do, and we call it the Closing Beat. We're here every day except for tomorrow, stock market, right? We got Good Friday coming up tomorrow. So you enjoy your long weekend. Of course, we will not be here doing this show, but we'll be back next week, of course. And tonight, if you are one of our clients and you are actively trading, I went way overboard with tonight's class, but I think it's really important. So I spent a lot of time on this, getting everything set up, and we're going to go over trading strategy just from start to finish. Buying, when to buy, when to sell. Well, we already did the sell, but specifically what you're looking for, when do you pull the trigger, and what causes you to pull the trigger. So we're going to go nuts tonight, and I mean it truthfully because thanks to Tom, old Tom sent us some Weller. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it will be a bourbon and wealth type night class. Bourbon and wealth class is what we're going to call it there. So hope you join us for that later. Starts at 8 o'clock. We'll be back in the speakeasy there, and we'll be ready for that. Also, on our research site, if you want to join, it's $13 a month if you want to join. Helps us out, keep building and expanding here. If you're a client, then it's free. You don't have to pay for it at all. We have yesterday we did a list of stocks to look at that was in video format. Today, I went through and did kind of an April performance. Like, is that the better month of the market? Is it the worst? What happens? What can we look forward to there? So be sure to check that out. If you're one of our research members, that actually just went up there. Anyways, as far as the markets go, off to the right-hand side of your page, we've got a little bit of a gain today, huh? Take a look over here to the right. Oh, by the way, if you want to put your bourbon in a coffee cup there are a few left. I think we're about done, actually. We got just a tiny bit left there. Got to get a few more boxes, but that'll be the end of that. And we're not in the coffee cup business, so there's not going to be more. We're just, once it's done, we're done. But anyways, we'll take a look over here at the markets. You've got, actually, by the way, President Biden looking for legal authority to forgive up to $50,000 in federal student loans. They're kind of starting to play with that concept there. I had sent a note out to clients when Biden was elected that, that's something that they were going to talk about. So if you were making extra payments towards your student loans, you may want to hold off on that. So I went over all of that. You can find that in our dojo, of course, if you want to know the details. But that's what he's looking into doing. Agree with it or disagree with it. It's in the works and something that's coming up there. I happen to disagree with it, but if you have federal student loans, I can't say I would argue with you for waiting to see if they do forgive them. So we'll take a look at the markets. That didn't really move the markets here today, but if we look at the NASDAQ, it's the best performer today, up 3.4% year to date. You're going to have your Microsoft, Amazon, those are your biggest contributors to the day. It's nice to see Microsoft waking up, Amazon a little bit, but a little bit behind there. Your biggest gainers on the day, semiconductors, right? Semiconductors just killing it, up some new highs there. You had Micron with earnings. We'll cover that a little bit later, but that was the sort of the leader in the space in terms of what caused a little bit of the excitement. KLA 10 core, AMAT, I got out a day early apparently. AMAT did well today. Xilinx, and you can just go through all of them, right? Xilinx coming out of the downtrend here. We talked about that off the 200-day moving average. That all looking good. If you go into other areas, Lululemon, they were the downside drag on the NASDAQ here today. It's going to be earnings related. And then Charter Communications trying to break through the 200-day. It just can't seem to clear, right, this downtrend here. So we got a little bit of downtrend, series of equal highs. Just can't seem to get out of it there for the helping out the NASDAQ. If we look over here at the S&P 500, it's up 7.25% year to date. Big tech, the big contributors here today. We don't need to go through them today. I'll look at something like Tesla. That was your biggest drag. It's had a great couple days, so no big deal there. And some headline stocks, right? Yeah, Johnson & Johnson in the news today, down about 1%. CarMax as well. We'll cover that in a little bit. They were also down And that's pretty much what you have there. Looking at the Russell, continued rally in the Russell that allowed me to close out our office trades. I had sold the 199 puts for $4.70 something cents, 72 cents I believe, and closed them out for $2.40 today. So that is the end of that Russell trade if you've been following along with us. But if you look at the Russell, it's just getting right back to where it left off as one of the leaders, if not the leader actually, in terms of the index performance, and just getting right back into the uptrend. So no complaints there. There's been a slight change in consumer sentiment. I'm going to pull this up here. We'll take a look. In the black, in the background there, I've got the S&P 500. In the green, we have the it's the AAII bullish, bearish, neutral sentiment survey that they do. And what we've noticed is all of a sudden, the bullish sentiment is ticking lower again. Markets moving higher, investors are becoming less bullish. Now, that doesn't mean they're becoming more bearish. If you look at the bearish sentiment, that's actually ticked up. And you say, uh-oh, people are going from bullish to bearish. They don't like the markets here. What's going on? In fact, a lot of people are actually shifting to neutral. So those percentage of people that said that they are neutral, the markets, now 31%. That's an uptick here for that one, up from about 27%. So you could argue that investors they're obviously not as bullish as they've been. We see that taken back, but they're not bearish, right? They're moving towards bearish, neutral to bearish there. So just wanted to share that with you if you're taking a look or you keep track of the investor sentiment there. And I plotted the market just over the background just so you can kind of see the difference there. Maybe we'll expand on that a little bit. We'll go to the sector breakdown, take a look and see what's going on out there today. Here you go. Energy. Now, you can see it there. Energy went from about fourth place, the green line in the background there, all the way back to first place, right? Goes from fourth to first. They got a little mid-morning rally there. OPEC says they're going to increase production gradually, and that came out right about here, if I could get my mouse to stop. And so that's good news for them. If you look inside of it, inside of energy anyways, you have the biggest gainers on the day. Marathon Petroleum. So Marathon Petroleum and Diamondback Energy, FANG is a ticker symbol. I believe Cody closes out his FANG position today thanks to that rally there, correct? Yeah. Correct. And Cody's down. You just got one trade now, huh?
Two of them, CCI and Home Depot.
Oh, I see what you got there. Okay. Yep. CCI and Home Depot, only ones left for Cody there, but that Diamondback Energy, nice rally for today. We can actually just click on it there, see what's going on. Those were your two biggest gainers, 10% gains between the both of them on the day. Nice to see that. If we look over back to the sectors here, we'll take a look at tech. So we go like this, and we'll go over to tech. Right, tech, your second best performer here on the day, sector-wise. Led by the semiconductors now officially have had 6 straight months of gains. So if you haven't had something to do with the semis, what are you waiting for? Also, they were the biggest gainers on the day. I'm going to click on Lam Research down here, and you can see the bubbles up at the top expand to kind of show the other semiconductors or some of them there. Micron Technologies, of course, earnings related. Taiwan Semiconductors is going to invest about $10 billion over the next 10 years. $100 billion over the next 10 years, 3 years, to expand their chip capacity overall. And then you had WDC, almost back to highs, actually. They said they're looking at buying a Japanese chip maker as well. That's obviously good news for them. There's a very limited supply right now. Demand is off the charts. You've known about what's causing automakers to have to stop production or slow production. It's crazy. It's really kind of crazy out there. So good for them if that's what they're in fact doing and can get it for a reasonable price. Moving back to the sectors here for a second, we've been talking about healthcare just ever so slightly waking up there. You had a great boost above these highs, back above the 50-day moving average, starting to pull back ever so slightly. And while it does that, you don't just look elsewhere, you look for strength, right? You look for strength if you're interested in this. So you could look over just today. You could zoom out and look over 5 days. So for example, you might look at something like Gilead now, and it's one of the weaker ones, but it's started to wake up here just a little bit. Strong on a weekday, somewhat weekday for healthcare. So that's an interesting one there. IQVIA, almost back to new highs. So a stock inside healthcare that's strong when healthcare seems to be pausing or a little bit weak, and maybe Intuitive Surgical, just another one. It's a weaker name, but over the last couple days starting to wake up while the healthcare sector has pulled back just a little bit. You're finding relative strength in otherwise a short-term, relatively weak sector of the market. right? So that's one way to look at it. Okay, consumer discretionary will be the last one that we take here. It's the second best performer over the last 5 days. And if you look inside, we're going to go like this and go like this guy here. So over the last 5 days, you're looking for a theme. And that theme to me is home builders. Over the last 5 days, your best gainers here are all now expanded. You can see the bigger dots there. Home builders. Pulte Homes, Lennar, Dr. Horton, you can see them all at the top of the list here in terms of the best performers. And so you could also say Norwegian and the cruise lines as well. But that one, the consumer discretionary, just asking for you to pay attention to that area of the market. And that's pretty much your sector breakdown for the day. So we'll move on to new highs and lows. We have the exact same amount, actually. We've got 28 new, right? Yeah, I will verify that and double check to say, yes, in fact, we had the same as yesterday, 28 new highs. I just have a handful of them to take a look at maybe. Raymond James breaking the new highs. Very strong stock overall. Happen to be familiar with these guys. They're in our hometown. But a very tight uptrend that just took a little time off and now is waking back up again. So if you own that or looking to own that, that's nice. Masco, also to new highs after a very long pause, starting to kind of look Amazon-ish in there. Long pause, finally breaks to new highs. Decent volume, slightly above average today, so that one makes the list in terms of maybe a watch list stock. The NASDAQ, this is, if you've been following us for a while, in the financials space, the exchanges have sort of been picking up the slack when the large banks take a break or pull back or whatever. So NASDAQ makes the list there. Trimble, also breaking the new highs. Not the cleanest consolidation here that you could look at if you're a breakout trader, but people are interested in playing it. Volume is high, nice and strong there, so something to look at. And in our research video, we covered PSA, Public Storage. It's a REIT, so we covered that there. That one continues to move higher. Looking really, really good. And new lows, no new lows again, but there's a handful of them that are close to new lows, and they're all biotech related. Vertex and Perigo, I covered a couple of them yesterday. So that's what you have there. Stocks in the news. What's going on out there today? CarMax, we said we would talk about that. That's going to be earnings related. They earnings beat, and sort of the headline news was they bought the rest of Edmunds. So they used to own like a third of Edmunds or something. They bought them out entirely and claim it's not going to be a conflict, but anyways, they own them there. The issue was on earnings that they beat because of their wholesale division. Their wholesale division makes up like 12% of their overall revenues, and so that was why they were like, okay, you know, it's not over here with your used retail cars, it's over here in wholesale. That's not a big chunk of your revenues, so if it weren't for that, you wouldn't have beat on earnings, which means you would have had a loss over here. That's not a good sign. So that's the reason CarMax was a little weaker. Micron, higher on the day. DRAM is the name of their game, basically. About 71% or 70-something. 70% of their revenues come from DRAM, whether it's for computers or mobile chips, mobile phones. And so that segment of their business, sales were up 44%. I think it was kind of an easy one to assume that was going to be the case. Obviously, supply was a concern there, but that sharp of increase in sales gives you about a 5% gain on the day. American Airlines. This is kind of interesting. The headline says American Airlines pays down $2.8 billion of their revolving debt. That's a fancy way of them saying it's the credit card, right? So we would pay off $2.8 billion of our personal revolving debt. We would just say credit cards. We paid off our credit card debt. American Airlines pays off $2.8 billion of their credit cards, so to speak, right? To use that analogy. Well, wait a minute. So they paid off all their debt. Where'd they get all this money from all of a sudden? Well, you might remember old Mr. Trump gave them $4 billion in grants and $1.7 billion in loans. So freebie, $4 billion, because that president at that time said, here you go, we just want you to do well. 1.7 in loans, which they didn't pay that back. So where do you think they got the money to pay off the credit cards, right? From the previous president. So I'm just saying, people start messing with your dough. I don't care what side they're on. I think that's a joke. I think that's ridiculous that they just took our money and paid off their credit, and now they just still have our money. I don't think that makes sense when we're all going to pay higher taxes and we're going to have, obviously, to deal with inflation. So you got that going on out there. But okay, the moral of the story here, you can take political sides, whatever you want. The moral of the story is they took money that cost them really nothing. They gave the government some warrants, and the president at the time touted, "Oh yeah, we're going to own part of American Airlines." No, but anyways, they take that money that cost them nothing. They pay off credit cards essentially that cost them a lot. They're just fixing their dough. So you can't really be mad at American Airlines. I think it's a little ridiculous, but they're doing what they have to do, just as me and you would do, paying off credit cards with a little bit of a gift that mom gave to us because we got in a little financial trouble. So kind of interesting how corporate world matches up with personal world if you can keep your composure and not get frustrated by some of the nonsense out there. CVS announces that they've done 10 million shots, COVID vaccines. Remember, we talked about this yesterday with Walgreens and the dough that they're making by giving people shots, and of course the dough that they want to make. They want to make $1 billion off of injecting people with the shots. Pretty fascinating. So CVS ahead of the game, it looks like a little bit. Stock still fell just a little bit because they don't expect to do as many. Walgreens will actually probably end up doing more shots than CVS. We'll see. That could change. Wingstop. I can honestly say I've never been to a Wingstop. Have you been to a Wingstop?
I have a couple times.
Both of you? I don't even know where one's at.
Across from Largo Mall.
Largo Mall.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
had it recently. There's one on Old First.
Is it good? Is it a good place to eat?
It is, but I think it's better than Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, okay. So this just in.
Not saying much, but
It's not saying much, but they're arguing that Wingstop is better than Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, I'm no stranger to some buffalo wings. I like the buffalo wings myself, but I can't say I've ever been there. Anyways, earnings beat, sales up 30% in the fourth quarter. Good for them. Digital sales up 63%. Somebody's going there. I don't mean to be that guy that's like I've never been. I will go if I see one though. I do like some buffalo wings. That's probably my 8th favorite food overall. So I will probably test them out. Also, Amazon and Walmart says get back in the office. We're going to start getting things back together. United's going to be hiring more pilots to get people flying again. Like it or not, old Biden wants everybody to stay at home with the masks on. These companies are like, we're getting back to work. We're going to get into the office and do our thing. It's such an interesting dissection there. Is that dichotomy or whatever? You have Amazon, Walmart, United. They're all like, let's go, right? Then you have J.P. Morgan. You had, I think it was Peloton, and a couple others go, we're not going back to the office. We're going to figure something else out. So kind of cool to see how that's happening. It's definitely a shift in the way we work and do business and, of course, live our lives. But we will see. Anyways, that's what I have for you. If you have any questions, feel free to post them while the stream catches up. I'll tell you that speaking of JP Morgan, you got 90 cents in dividends coming out. Dollar General, 42 cents. Cisco, the tech company, 37 cents. And Cerner paying out 22 cents there. Other than that, I believe we have done it. Guess the retailer has earnings. They came out there. No earnings for tomorrow, obviously. There's nothing going on tomorrow. Yeah. Been to Wingstop one time. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Did I get you guys? I was just waiting to see. Like, you notice how I do that? Like, I just try to hint on a little politics just to get you guys going. I don't really care where you stand. No regular? Oh, okay. They missed it. Damn. I don't really mind. You know, I come from that background where you could be on one side, I could be on the other. We could still be friends. You know what I mean? Have your beliefs. You know, just be respectful. That's all. That's all for me, man. We can disagree. Frontier Airlines. Yeah, we were talking about them. So they're going public. I believe that will happen Monday now. I didn't catch it, but I think it was Monday. Same, I would say the same thing. Yeah, not a bad airline. I don't know much about their financials yet, but as far as service and everything. Yeah. I love it there. No position in Norton LifeLock. How's it looking? Just you don't want to buy it. So you would say you'd say this is dead money. So not that it's a bad stock. It's just we're going to cover this tonight too, by the way, very specifically. You just don't want. Do you want to do anything with a stock that's not moving? I mean, you feel like it's ready to get going again, but do you want to be the person that makes that decision when everybody else is not doing anything? I personally would say you wait to see it wake up if you wanted to be a part of it. And so I think that's probably why you're saying you don't have a position, because you're just waiting for that opportunity. Yeah. cabinet install this weekend? No, man. We had some ridiculous amount of cabinets, and one of them was the wrong size. One was just missing, and what was the other one? Oh, because the one was the wrong size, then the one above it has to be changed as well. So, man, we got weeks. But no hurry there. You wish there were more people that were okay with different views. Yeah, we need to get back to that. Yeah. Well, I'm not that old either, but when I was a kid, I remember a guy telling me, it was actually that time he was the chief of the Seminole Indians down here in Florida. He just said, just listen to people. You know, just listen to them. You don't have to agree with them or disagree with them. Just listen to them, and you learn by listening. You know what I mean? We don't have to hate each other. But I mean, it's not my place. I'm the money guy. And they start messing with your money. Now, if Biden comes out now and starts messing with your money, we're going to talk, right? And then if Republicans want to get on that side, we're going to talk to them too. It doesn't really matter to me. You just let us all do our own thing. Let us do right by our money. We'll figure it out. Need that. Oh boy. What caused the premium decline so fast? I don't think I've looked there. Let me see. I don't know what you're talking about there. Is that even something that it has no options? So that may be an acronym for something I'm not familiar with. Yeah. All right. And we'll wrap it up there just a touch early because I kid you not, I really went I went a little crazy with tonight's class. So bring your thinking cap, bring your Weller, come hang out with me. We're just going to go in the class tonight, be 8 o'clock, and we're going to talk about this, right? I need people to get more specific with why and where they're buying stock. So I'm just going to give it to you. I'm going to lay it out exactly how it should go. I'm not even teasing you on that one. I'll see you at 8 o'clock here tonight. For the rest of you, thanks for joining us. We will be back on Monday to do all of this all over again. And we didn't get to the office trades today, actually, but we mentioned a couple. And we're going to start that series in the dojo as well. So back to our regularly scheduled programming next week, I assume. Enjoy. See you.